Hello YouTubers, I'm Justin and today on Dashandrun we're finally coming back to the Instamatic camera, the SQ10 from Fujifilm. Now I've promised to do a review of this sometime back because I did the unboxing and it has taken me some time, but finally we're going to actually do a proper review and look at the features of this camera. So in this review I'll try to cover as much as I can on operating the camera, how to load the film into the camera, and a bit of a comparison with some of the other Fujifilm Instamatic cameras that I've got and shown previously on my channel, so you can get an idea if the quality from this is worth getting over those other ones. Anyway, let's get into the review and go from there. Alright, so now let's have a bit of a closer look at the button layout and some of the features on this camera. So starting from the front, you can see that you've got two buttons here, and one is a trigger button and one is for setting different exposures, like doing a double exposure. You've also got your flash here, and you've got an LED light that will basically just let people know it's going to take a picture. You've got two anchor points either side, and you've got your on and off switches, which is located on the iris, and it's a bit similar than some of the other Instamatic cameras that have come out before. So when you turn it like so, it will make a beep and it means it's now on. Now going to the top, you've got your latch to pop open the back, and you've got the slot for where the film comes out. On the bottom you've actually got a tripod mount, which is quite handy because not all of these cameras have them. Then if you open this latch, you've got where the micro SD card goes and a micro USB cable for charging and also for transferring images to and from the camera. On this side you've got a auto and manual select, which will allow you to change the settings for the camera to go from automatic to manual basically. And also you've got this compartment here, which is where the internal rechargeable battery is stored, and it is a similar battery to some of the other models that have come out from Fuji, and I'll list those on the screen so that you know which ones it's compatible with. And then finally, if we go to the back, you basically got your LED screen, and as you can see, if I change this button here, it will change it to manual or automatic, so you can see that. And then this button here will allow you to select different shooting filters for your camera, and then you've got exposure, and you've got contrast, and then you've got your print, and you've also got your flash adjustment, and then you've got your view photos. So there's quite a lot of settings there. It's not a simple thing, but unfortunately this camera does not take video. It only takes stills, and the only other problem I found is it also is not Bluetooth enabled, so you can't transfer photos from your phone to this camera. You basically have to use the SD card for that. Anyway, what I want to do now is show you how you load up the film in this camera, and then I'll take some images so you can see the quality that it does, and then I'll also compare it to some of the other Fuji Instamatic cameras that have come out before and give you an idea of whether it's something you want to get or not. Now, one of the first interesting things about this camera is the fact that Fujifilm have decided to bring out a new format of Instamatic film, and this is a square version. Now, they've had the wide and they've had the mini, but now we've got the square one. So again, it's a new format, but there is a minus to that. Like if you own one of the previous Instamatic cameras, the mini or the wide format, you can't interchange the film with this particular camera. So it means having to buy new film. And that can be a problem if you didn't want to actually necessarily buy new film and you already owned an Instamatic camera. But if it's new to you, then it's not really a problem at all. Anyway, that's one of the changes I thought I'd just point out. Anyway, let's go and have a look at this actual camera and we'll go from there. Okay, so after explaining the difference between the previous Instamatic films and this new one, which is a square, let's actually load it in the camera. So let's show you how you load this new film into the camera. So basically you want to turn the camera over, and there's a latch here at the bottom, and if you lift it to one side, it'll actually allow you to lift the actual back open, and as you can see, you've got this little yellow marker. Now that's pretty standard on Instamatic cameras. They all have this yellow marker because that will be actually on the film. So next what we do is get the film out the box. Haven't actually opened one of these before, so I don't know how hard they are to pull out. They're pretty much standard though. They've got like a little tear thing which is just there, which actually you use to tear it, so it makes it very easy to pull it open like so. And as you can see, you pull it out, get rid of your rubbish, and you've got the little yellow marker here, and this one here, and basically they line up with each other. So you just put the film in like so, and you can see that they've lined up with each other. So now when I shut this down, it will probably either print a blank sheet, or I'll have to turn it on, but one or the other, it will actually print out this protective sleeve to begin with. So let's shut the back, and it's actually printing now, so that's quite good, because some of the Instamatics you have to actually press the trigger to do that. And that's just a blank protective sheet protecting the actual film in the camera. So next, let's go and do a bit of a comparison with another Instamatic camera and give you an idea of the quality between this and another one. Okay, so what you see here is the Instamatic Mini 70, and on this side you've got the SQ10. Now I was going to use the Mini 90, which is actually one of my favourite Instamatic cameras, but the Instamatic 70 is very comparable to the 90 and is a good benchmark to compare these two cameras. Now the difference between these is this is actually a film camera and this is really a digital camera. It's actually got a digital sensor in it, so there's going to be a difference in image quality. For a start, this will probably produce a better image because it can do processing on the image before it prints it out, where this just takes the image and will print it out, and basically what you see is what you're going to get. But it will give you a bit of an idea if something like this is worth investing more money than something like this, and also how much quicker and faster they print images between the two of them, and if the actual quality is actually better or not. Anyway, let's go and do a bit of a test between these two cameras. Okay, so I've got this model kit of a robot from Star Blazers, which I've got mailed, and later on we'll show on my channel. But basically what I want to do is take a picture with these two cameras of this box and see how long it takes for the picture to be pushed out the camera and how long it will take to develop. So we'll start with the Instax 70, and we'll take a picture with this camera of this box art, and then I'll use the SQ10. Now the Instax Mini 70 definitely pushes the film out quicker probably than the SQ10, but we'll see how long it takes to actually develop. Remember, this was basically just a print and how long it takes to develop shot. It's not actually in focus or how good the image is. Anyway, what we'll do is take a few more shots of the same items and we'll just compare them and line them up, and then I'll also show you the digital ones that are recorded to the SD card so you can have a look at those and get an idea if that quality is good too or not. Okay, so we've done basically the printout to give you an idea of how quick they print and how quick you get a photo developed from these two cameras. So what I want to do next is basically have a bit of a look at some photos I've taken with these two. Now it's really hard to compare a film camera with a digital camera because the film camera is going to be an adapted camera basically on what the environment's like at the time it takes the shot, where the digital camera you've got some lateral adjustment you can make to the film later. So what I tried to do is set this for automatic and this for automatic and try and match them as close as possible as what you would get if you just took a picture at the same time. So the first one is this one here, and they're pretty closely matched. They're not too different. It gives you an idea that the printout from the Instax 70 is quite comparable to the SQ10 if you just want to get the printout. And I do like the squarer format. I must admit that although it doesn't seem that much difference in size, it just seems to lend it better. It just feels it opens the image up a bit more. And finally we got this one here. Now this is quite an overexposed image, and it just gives you an idea of what the camera reacts like when the image is very overexposed, and you can see that the Q10 probably is a little bit better than the Instamatic 70 for this one, but overall they're pretty closely matched. Got a couple of other photos I took with the SQ10, and as you can see, they're not too bad. They're a bit dark because you've got the different options of brightening and lightening, but what I'll actually show you is the actual raw images that are actually on the SD card, which is actually what you'd probably want to look at, because then you've got the option of printing those later, and you can adjust those image qualities quite a bit by actually having a look. So now I'll show you some of the raw images from the SQ10 camera. Well, there you go. There's my look at the SQ10 Instamatic camera, and overall I really liked the camera in the end. At first I wasn't too sure of it because of the funny shape and design of it, but I do like a lot of the features, and although it's not an outright film camera like some of the other Instamatic cameras, it is nice to have a bit more control over the images you're going to print, because these are quite expensive to print out. So I suppose having the option of being able to adjust it a bit and print them later means that you can save some money. Now, this isn't going to be the last I'll look at the SQ10. There is a firmware coming out in the middle of November which will add some more features, some more filters. So I'd like to revisit the camera and see if they've tweaked it a bit there, and also have a look at the new filters. And I've also got an accessory that I'm going to be looking at for this camera. So until then, as always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.